For Eric J on Sports, I'm Eric J, and this is what I think. It's Hall of Fame season, and the nominees for induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame have been announced. And once again, I look at the list of names and I see a glaring omission, a glaring oversight with regards to an individual who I feel belongs in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but has not been nominated, even though this individual, in my opinion, should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Now, suppose I told you there was a player who played 23 years in professional football, retiring in 2007 as the career leader in passing yards, and won 4 championships with 3 different teams in 3 different decades, is a 3-time All-Star, a former league MVP, won the championship MVP 3 times, and was the second oldest league MVP in sports history, winning an MVP award at 42 years old in season 21 of his career. Suppose I told you that that individual retired in 2007, which would have made him eligible for the Hall of Fame in 2012, but has never, ever, ever even been nominated for induction into the Hall of Fame. What would you say? You would probably say that it's a glaring oversight and there must be some issue. Maybe this guy was on steroids or something like the baseball guys, or something's going wrong to where this guy's not been inducted into the Hall of Fame. So let me clear things up really quickly. The edifice in Springfield, Massachusetts is referred to as the Basketball Hall of Fame. It's not the NBA Hall of Fame. It's the Basketball Hall of Fame, which is why people like Cheryl Miller and Lisa Leslie and the Harlem Globetrotters are in the Hall of Fame, because it's not the NBA Hall of Fame. It's the Basketball Hall of Fame. It covers all of basketball. Oscar Schmidt, the great Brazilian Olympian, is in the Hall of Fame. Lisa Leslie and Cheryl Miller, 2 of the greatest women's players to ever play the game, are in the Hall of Fame. The Harlem Globetrotters are in the Hall of Fame because it covers all of basketball. The edifice in Cooperstown, New York is the Baseball Hall of Fame, not the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, the Baseball Hall of Fame, which is why the Japanese legend Sadaharu Oh, who never played in America, is in the Hall of Fame, and which is why Josh Gibson and Satchel Paige, 2 great Negro League players, are in the Hall of Fame, because it's the Baseball Hall of Fame. It covers all of baseball, not just the major leagues in America. And the edifice in Canton, Ohio, is referred to as the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It's not referred to as the NFL Hall of Fame. It's the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So seemingly, it would cover all of professional football and not just the NFL. So let me clear up that issue that I addressed a minute ago. Damon Allen is the younger brother of NFL Hall of Famer legend Marcus Allen, who played for the Los Angeles Raiders and the Kansas City Chiefs. Super Bowl MVP, League MVP, Rookie of the Year, retired as the career leader in rushing touchdowns, all of that. Damon Allen is his younger brother. Damon Allen played football at Cal State Fullerton and then went undrafted in the NFL. And part of the reason he went undrafted is because people thought he was going to sign a baseball contract, because he was a great baseball player too. But when he went undrafted by the NFL, Damon Allen decided to go play football in Canada. And all he did during his 23 years in the Canadian Football League was win 4 titles with 3 different teams in 3 different decades and be the Grey Cup MVP 3 different times. He was a 3-time All-Star. He won the league's MVP award at age 42 in his 21st season. He retired as the career leader in passing yards for the CFL, which gave him the highest career passing yards in football history, only to have been passed by Tom Brady and Drew Brees, and then another CFL quarterback. So he now resides with the 4th most career passing yards in professional football history, and the 2nd most in CFL history. He also retired with the 3rd most rushing yards in CFL history, a number that would right now put him 17th on the NFL list. He combined has more total yards than only 2 players, rushing and passing, than only 2 players, and that would be Tom Brady and Drew Brees. He won 4 championships in 3 different decades, played 23 years in Canadian football, retired in 2007, which would make him eligible for the Hall of Fame in 2012. And the Pro Football Hall of Fame has never nominated him for induction. Again, as I said, it's not the NFL Hall of Fame. If it were, then this wouldn't even be an issue. I wouldn't be talking about it. but it's the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So how can, in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, a guy who threw for over 70,000 yards and was a 4-time champion and a 3-time championship MVP, won a league MVP, has the 4th most passing yards in the history of professional football covering every league, but was the career leader until Tom Brady and Drew Brees passed him? How can this guy not be nominated for induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame? It's because the Pro Football Hall of Fame thinks it's the NFL Hall of Fame. That's why. Because the NFL Hall of Fame is going to nominate NFL guys. And the NFL Hall of Fame likes to play games like we can only induct one wide receiver this year. So even though Randy Moss and Terrell Owens are both retired and have both been retired for the obligatory 5 years, we can only put one of them in. So if Randy goes in, then T.O. has to wait. We can only put in one cornerback. So even though Mike Haynes has been retired and Lester Hayes has been retired, we'll put in Mike Haynes because he was a better cornerback, and since he was a Raider, we won't put the other Raider in. We can't put kickers in because they're specialists. We can't put return guys in because they're specialists. We can only put in one person at each position as if we're creating our own little all-star team every year, and we won't venture outside of America, and we won't venture outside of the NFL. So a guy with great Arena League stats will never get into the Hall of Fame. A guy with great Canadian League stats will never get into the Hall of Fame. So Doug Flutie, who has great Canadian League stats, but subpar NFL stats, won't get into the Hall of Fame. But Warren Moon, who only played 5 years in Canada, but he won 4 championships, and then came to the NFL and threw for 50,000 yards, he's in the Hall of Fame because he has great NFL stats. And Damon Allen, who threw for 72,000 yards in the Canadian League, and then rushed for another almost 12,000, he's not going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame because the Pro Football Hall of Fame thinks it's the NFL Hall of Fame, and they think they can only induct one of everything, and they have all these weird little idiosyncrasies that keep people out of the Hall of Fame. So Damon Allen, with his 4th most career passing yards in the history of professional football and his 3rd all-time career rushing yards in Canadian football, and 17th all-time career rushing yards in all of professional football, and winning an MVP, a league MVP at age 42, and winning championships in 3 different decades with 3 different franchises, 4 overall, will not now or in the near future be nominated for induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And I think it's sad, and I think it's an oversight, and I think it's something that more people should be talking about, particularly Marcus, his brother, should be talking about this. Because it's not the NFL Hall of Fame. And since Canadian football is pro football, people are going to think it's weaker and worse and easier than American football. And if that were the case, then more people would be doing this. But think about it for a second. You're playing on a field with one extra player and a smaller end zone. The field is longer. It may be a little wider, but you've got an extra player and you've got an end zone that's 5 yards smaller. And all he did was win championships and throw for a lot of yards. So I think that more people should be talking about Damon Allen being inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, because it's not the NFL Hall of Fame. But as I said, this is just what I think. Remember to like and share this video and subscribe to this channel, and visit the Eric J. on Sports website, and follow me on Facebook at Eric J. on Sports 1, and on Instagram and Twitter at Eric J. on Sports. And for Eric J. on Sports, I'm Eric J., and this is what I think.